I spoke to a few different people, women in particular, about their financial futures. Now, this subject sometimes gets poo-pooed because nobody wants to talk about money, or my husband takes care of it, or I already have everything I need, or I don't do that stuff. That's not me. I don't do that stuff. I don't need to know about that. That's already taken care of. And that's all fine and dandy if it is. But I am a firm believer in empowering you and your family to make the right decision for you, the best decision for you. I do this in a few different capacities. I help women in their life. I help women in their business. That is one of my businesses. That is Sasha Davis Coaching. That is what people hire me for, is to help them with life, with business, with these things. And the other capacity that I can serve women and their families and the community is by empowering their financial future. How do I do that? Through financial services. What does this mean? It means that I struggled with money stuff my whole life. Hell, it is still a struggle to this day. I have so many money stories that surround me that each and every day I have to make conscious decisions to choose differently. I am a spender by nature, and I believe this is something that I inherited from previous generations, is that I feel uncomfortable holding on to large sums of money. It feels weird. So I always want to okay, what can I buy? What can I get rid of? Or who can I give this money to? Who can I donate to? One of my coaches was joking with me. Well, she probably wasn't joking. And I said, oh, if I could just win the lottery, everything would be fine. And she goes, Sasha, if you won the lottery, you would give it all away. And in that very moment, I was like, you're right. Why is that? Because even the mere thought of winning the lottery, my brain immediately goes to, what charities can I donate to? How can I give back more? How can I give? None of it would be kept for myself. I'd end up giving it to everybody else, and I'd be in the same damn boat that I'm in right now. So this is a reoccurring theme for me, and it is something that I have been really, really working on heavily the last few years of my life. And if you've been following me, you know that if I want to know about something, I'm going to immerse myself in it. So what better way to get my financial shit together than become somebody who provides financial services? Whether that's, I'm not even going to get into that. If you're interested in it, just hit me up. I do literally anything you can think of in terms of insurance, investments, things of that nature. Okay. Just message me and we will work something out. But I felt lacking in that department. I had no idea about any of that stuff. It's not something that they teach you in school, in high school. This isn't even something that I think places teach in college. I don't remember ever, maybe they have accounting, but you would have to go for that to be your specific degree. But even that, they don't teach you about the different types of ways that you can budget, or checks and balances, or investments, or mutual funds, or what a 401k is, or what's life insurance, what is a good rate on home and auto, what is a deductible, what is a premium, what are these things? You may be one of those people right now listening to this, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I want you to know that you are not alone. There is so many people, women specifically, that struggle with these things. And I don't mean that you need to be a super genius to be able to, go get insurance or to set up a retirement fund. I just want you to know the basics so that you can make an educated decision. And I feel really called to step into this area, helping women in business, helping women with money, and debunking these stories that we tell ourselves so that we can set our next generation up for success. So some of the things that I've put into place for myself, I've also done for my children. I wish that my parents would have known about these things when I was little, because then I bet they would have done the same thing for me as I'm doing for my children. But you didn't know, like, nobody teaches you about these things, and you have no idea to where to even start until you get hit by a creepy salesman this woman I was talking to today, she's like, yeah, we have a whole bunch of, investment and insurance places in town, but they're all like 40, 50, 60-year-old white men. And that's great if that resonates with you, but you don't have to be a middle-aged white male to know shit about finances or insurance or retirement. Like, you can be an educated, empowered individual, woman, in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s. You do not need a man to do your finances and plan your financial future for you. I don't mean to get on my feminist high horse, but I feel like, and this is because this is where I was, right? I'm like, oh, somebody else will take care of it for me. It's no big deal. Somebody else, or I don't need that. I'm never going to die, or I don't need that, or just call and what's the bare minimum I can get by on this? I just didn't care. I didn't give it any thought. And now that I have children, I'm like, oh my God, I should probably step up my game and figure out what the hell I'm talking about so that I don't pass the baton on to these guys so that they screw up their entire financial future. I didn't know anything about student loans, but did you know that there's actually plans out there to help you plan for your child's college education? How cool would that have been if my parents were able to set something up? But they probably had no idea about it. Well, what do you think that I'm going to go do so that my kids don't get socked with $80,000+ of student loans? I'm going to set something up for them so that they can be successful when that time comes. These are things that I feel like we should know about, but we don't. And whether it's because we lack confidence in the subject or we just don't feel comfortable talking about it. I know money is a very conversation anyways. And then you throw insurance in the mix, and then you throw salespeople in the mix, and it's just no. Nobody wants to talk about it. And then when you do talk about it, for me, I felt like I was pressured into a corner, this is what you need. And I was like, do I? Is that? I don't know what anything it means that you're saying. And so I didn't feel confident in my decision that I made at the time. And I don't like not knowing my shit. You guys should know that by now. I want to know the ins and outs of everything. I want to make an educated decision. I mean, I know I wing it a lot of times, but when it comes to big things like that, I want to know that I'm making the right choice. And how do I know I'm not making, how do I know I'm making the right choice if I have no idea what it is that you were even talking about? So I went to work and I educated myself and I became licensed and I read all of the books, anything and everything to do with money and finances and budgeting and how to overcome these money stories, these things that we tell ourselves, I'm not good enough, or that's too expensive, or I'll never make that much money, or I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to go with whatever this person says that I need. And that's fine to an extent if you trust the person that you're working with, but if you don't trust the person that you're working with, you're literally placing your financial future in the hands of a stranger. How does that feel? For me, it didn't feel very good because I'm like, well, how do I know that this guy is making the right choice for me? He doesn't know me from Timbuktu. We've had a 10-minute conversation with one another. He thinks he knows me, but he doesn't. He doesn't know me on a deeper level. And so that's kind of my mission in that area, you guys. I have a lot of missions. Well, actually, it's all the same. It's just empowering you to make the best choice for you so that you can live a happy, healthy, wealthy life with you and your family and for the next generation. That's all I want is for you and your kids to be set up for success. Coming from the woman who never even wanted children. Man, do children change you. And so going back to this concept of, I'm going to say financial illiteracy, because we're just not educating ourselves. We're not opening up that realm, that doorway to listen and to learn and make choices that will affect us in the future, like in a good way. Like, what am I trying to say? Words aren't coming to me right now. Anyway, so I just thought it was a very interesting conversation because she's like, you're right. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff. Like, you get out of college and you're told that, get married, buy a house, get insurance, get a 9-to-5, sign up for their 401k, max it out, try not to go negative in your account. And, that was it. Like, that was it for me. And I've gone negative in my account more times than I even care to admit, guys. Like, I am not perfect. At one point in my life, I think this was like 10 or so years ago. Yeah, because it was like the first year that I met my husband. I was working at a place that paid me every Friday. Like, I just got an automatic paycheck. I get paid very differently now, so I'm like, what is that called? So you get paid every Friday, and I shit you not, I would run out of money by the following Wednesday, whether that went to bills, gas, booze, cigarettes. If I had money, I would spend it. If I didn't have money, I would spend it. So to be entirely honest with you, if somebody asked me to open a credit card, I was like, yep, give me a credit card. Yep, let's put it on the card. Yep, let's put it on the card. I think at one point in time I had like a dozen credit cards. Not kidding. Like, I was in the thick of it. There's actually a point in my life where this even like pains me to say out loud. But when I would run out of money on Wednesday, I knew that if I went to a certain gas station that I could fill up my car, I could get a pack of cigarettes, I could get beer or whatever else it was I was drinking, and get $20 cash back and write a bad check, because they wouldn't cash it until Friday when I got paid again. And that grosses me to even say it, but that's where I was at. Like, that is how far I've come in my money mindset. I literally would write bad checks so that they would cash them on Friday, because I would run out of money due to my lack of financial literacy, because I did not know how to budget. I did not know anything about money, where it came from, where it was going to, how to budget for the future, how to do any of these things. Like, I had no idea what life insurance was. I didn't give two shits about retirement, because you don't think about those things in your 20s, right? But if we set these things up when we're younger, we're setting ourselves up for success in the long run, because over time, that money will compound. It will compound and compound and compound. So you will just continue to grow. Well, depending on what you do. I don't want to get too much into this, because actually I don't even know if I can talk about that stuff with FINRA regulations and things. But the earlier you start to invest in yourself, in your financial future, in your children's financial future, the better off you'll be. We'll just leave it at that, because money over time will compound, and you will earn more in the long run than trying to make up for it in the short run. And I talk to even a lot of people who are in their 50s and 60s, and they're just hoping and praying that Social Security and their 401k will pay for it. Well, you know what, guys? Two things I want to say. We only have one guarantee in life. You know what it is? You know what I'm going to say? We're all going to leave this planet someday. That's one guarantee. The second thing I want to say is we are living longer now than we ever have. That's how I want to say this. So before, retirement set at 65 or whatever. Well, people were dying in their 70s and 80s. And not that people still aren't dying in their 70s and 80s, but it is not uncommon for people to live well into their 90s and 100s on their own. So are you prepared to outlive your money? Have you thought about that? Now I feel like I'm going on a rant here, because these are things that I think about. These are things that keep me up at night. I'm like, did I put enough in the savings account? Did I put enough into this? Did I put enough into that? Very, very different mindset than how can I go buy some booze and cigarettes with a bad check 10 years ago? What do you think of that? I did a lot of work to get to this place, and by no means am I perfect. And I'm still continuing to learn and grow and educate myself on, everything money related, everything to do with financials. I'm getting more licenses this year so that I can learn more about these products and services so that I can make my money work for me. How cool is that? Isn't that a crazy concept? But people do it. Wealthy people do it all the time. And so you have to put yourself in those people's shoes. Like if I gave you $100,000 right now, what would you do with it? I bet a lot of you are like, oh, I'd pay off debt, or I'd go buy this, or I'd go buy that. You know what I would do? I would invest it. I would buy investment properties, or I would put it in stocks or mutual funds or an IUL. Like, I would make my money work for me. And that's where the money mindset starts to shift, is how do you view money? How do you think about money? Are you using it as a tool to just get more stuff? Or are you using it as a wealth builder? Are you using it to set up your future? And because the more money you make, the more money you make. The better it gets, the better it gets. You can either spiral up or you can spiral down. It's up to you. Every day you make a choice. You can get 1% better or you can get 1% worse. Every day, whatever you are doing is moving you further to the needle or away from the needle. What are you choosing? What are your choices? And I'm not saying that you guys have to come hit me up and things like that. This isn't, if you want to, by all means, but this isn't an advertising thing. A lot of you already work with insurance people. A lot of you maybe already know a financial advisor, a financial consultant. Go talk to them. Or go listen to a podcast. Go read a book. Start to educate yourself on your financial situation and how you can improve it. And if you look at it and you're like, oh God, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I don't like any of this. I was there too. I just remember waking up in the morning, and the first thing that came to mind was, I really hope that I didn't go negative. I really hope that I didn't get another overdraft fee. And I would check my bank account every morning, and I would thank God if I didn't go negative, because I would spend. And a lot of times it was just spending on bills, shit that I've already paid for on credit cards. And then you have automatic payments set up. And then you get to a point where you're like, I have too many automatic payments coming up and I don't have enough money coming in. Wish, hope, and pray that I have enough money to cover the bills. How many of you have been there where you're like, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen this month. I have more month than money. How many times have you heard people say that? And I was sick of it. I was so sick of hearing that. I was so tired of overpaying for some things and not feeling valued. And I was so sick of my money flying out of my account as soon as I had it. I was tired of it. It was stressful. It sucked. And so what I want to say to you is just start to do a little bit of research. Figure out a budget. That's the number one thing. Okay. I'll tell you what I did for financial, what worked for me. Okay. So what I did is I came up with a budget. Okay. And then I sat down and I tallied up all of my debts. Who do I owe? What do I owe? How can I pay these things off quicker? So that's what I did first. And then I came up with a plan. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Dave Ramsey. If that works for you, great. If not, find something else. So I used his snowball effect to help me pay off debt. Now, to this day, I am still not 100% debt free. I am well on my way, but I am not there yet. Okay? I'm still working on paying off debt to this day. But you can still pay off debt and invest in your financial future. Okay? So I'm paying off debt. Well, then I start to put money into my savings. I have automatic, every Friday I have a thing that I say, pay myself first. Read the book, Profit First, and you'll kind of gather that concept. But every Friday I pay myself first. And if I can't afford to pay myself, then I need to find a way to make more money or cut back on expenses somewhere else. Pay yourself first. So I do that every Friday. And then the next thing that I did is I started to look at the insurance things. So, and being adults, where do we go? Home, auto. That's the first things that you think of when it comes to insurance. And then if you're a business owner, you think of business insurance. Next, you're going to think of life insurance. What happens if something happens to me? So make sure you have all of those things in place, right? There's tons of different ways that you can tally that up. Again, something is better than nothing. Speak with your financial advisor or insurance agent on how they can help you with that. So then you get your home, auto, business, personal liability, any of those things. Life insurance, and then next we talk about retirement, and then we talk about investing, and then we go from there. I hope this makes sense. That is currently where I'm at in my journey, and one of the things that I want to do is just, what do you think of that? Oakland's like, Mom, stop recording. You guys are getting a lot of car time with me. So that's my daughter. You guys are getting a lot of car time with me hands-free just because I have like a 45-minute commute, and I'm like, I have all these thoughts going through my brain as I'm driving, and so I'm like, you know what, you're just going to get some car episodes, and I hope you're okay with it. If not, I suppose you can unsubscribe, but I hope you stick around because I feel like I have a lot of value to give, and you're going to enjoy a lot of the people who are coming up for interviews and whatnot. I actually just did two today, and they're so good. I can't wait for you to hear them, but I don't want to do any spoiler alerts. Just know that I have some really good interviews coming your way. So that's my 2 cents on your financial future. I just want you to take the reins and feel empowered and know that you are making the right choice for you and your family, and you're not just going to some website or some creepy salesman getting some cookie cutter policy that is sold, to everybody and their dog. Like, I just want you to find something that works for you, create a budget that works for you and your family, and set something up so that you guys have a financial future, and figure out, what you're going to do if you end up outliving your money. Like, how can you start to set more aside now so that you don't suffer later? That's my 2 cents. Haha, talking about money. 2 cents. Get it? I think I'm funny. All right. Catch you next time.